Well, good morning. Well, I'm standing here in my little video shop in my little small town, and a while back I had a little problem. I had a pumping system for slip to fill molds with, and like most of these old systems, they're something that somebody saved from a shop that was closing, and it was pretty old. Well, about a year ago, that system died and it was no longer repairable. So it left me in a conundrum. I looked around, there didn't seem to be any used systems I could buy. Uh, so I looked the internet, and the cheapest thing I could see on the internet was $500. Now, my little store, I couldn't just write a check for $500. I would have had to take money out of family funds to pay that extra expense. So it was more than I could afford, more than I could budget for. So I had to come up with a different solution. And that was the cheapest thing I could find. And there was a lot of them that, $13, $14, $1,500. No way I could do it. So I had to come up with a better solution. And this is what I came up with. I had to figure out a way that I could produce a slip pump that would fill molds that was within my budget. And it took me a long time. I had several different prototypes. Not all of them worked. And finally, here we are. And I'll show you in a minute how it runs. But first, I'm going to tell you there's 2 or 3 features that I was able to incorporate into this that I had always kind of wished I had on the old pump. For instance, now this is not complicated, but anything that has slip in it, it'll cake up and it'll get thick on the edges of your tank. And it's just a horrible, nasty mess to clean that and to reincorporate that hardened slip and make it all work right again. Well, in this case, I solved that. These containers hold 7 gallons. So with the pump in the bucket and everything, it probably holds about 6 usable gallons. And all I did was, instead of 1 bucket, I have 2. So that when one of them gets caked up, I can lift the pump, I can put it in the clean one, I can set the caked up bucket aside. In a few days when it's dried, I pick it up, slam it against a table a few times, it all crumbles into the bottom of the bucket, I dump it into my recycle bin. So that was one thing. Another thing I was able to do is I've incorporated, because of the way the pump's put together, I was able to put a valve up here just coming out of the pump that allows me to control the volume of flow. So if I'm pouring big molds today, I can run it wide open. But if I'm pouring some little stuff, I can slow it down so that I'm making less mess, unless I have to clean up. And the third thing is that it's foot pedal operated. I have a foot pedal. This is what they look like. You just plug it into power, plug the pump cord into it, and then literally all you have to do is step on the pedal and it pumps. When you let off, it quits pumping. Simple, but it's easier than opening and closing a valve all the time. Gives you better control and less mess, and it's not sitting there running the whole time when you're not pumping for a minute. Well, all right, those are some things I did with this that are kind of unique. So let me show you how it works. Okay, I open this valve, This one's wide open, so we're going to get full flow. May take just a second, but as you can see, it pumps at a pretty good rate. You know, that's going to fill your big molds pretty quick. But let's say today I'm doing little stuff, and so I don't want that much. I'm going to slow it down a little. And I can slow it down to where I could even pour ornaments and little bitty items and not have a huge mess on my table. Well, all right. I want you to know that this is about the 4th generation of this that I've built, because I'd put it together and I'd use it and I'd test it and I'd find something I wanted to improve. So I'd buy some more parts and I'd redo it and I'd test it again, use it for a while in my shop, and then I'd find something else I wanted to improve. Well, this is the 4th edition, and I have it as close as I can get it now, and I'm very happy with the solution. I'm using the 3rd edition in my pouring room, which is not as adjustable as this one is. Otherwise, it's about the same. But it just, I was able to make a change so that the adjustments have more effect. And now it's good. It's perfect. I'm not saying this is not a fancy system, and it was designed to be inexpensive. Okay? I wanted something cheap enough that if you had a little store like mine, or you were just a hobbyist and you worked out of your garage or out of your basement, that you could kind of think this was a reasonable purchase. Now, I was content to just use my little pump in my back room and enjoy it and not have to use pitchers, because that's just like death. That's terrible. But I had some family members and friends that encouraged me and said, look, you know, I think what you've done is unique, and it's pretty neat, and you should put it on the market. So here's what I'm going to do. I have a small number of these that I have the parts to assemble, okay, to put them together and ship them. Now, it will require assembly when you get it, but it'll all be there. I have written instructions with pictures so that you won't have any problem. And I'm able to ship these to you minus shipping. I want $249 each. Now that's about half the cheapest item I could find on the market. And as you can see, and as I just demonstrated to you, the product works. Now, it's not fancy, it's not reversible, but it allows you to do business. It allows you to pour molds and get your job done and get on to the next thing. If you're like me, I'm busy. I need to get that pouring done and go on. And I find that it's got enough capacity that unless I'm pouring big stuff, you know, I can pour enough in one run with it to keep my shelves in control. So that's about it. If you're interested, comment. I'm putting this on Facebook, and I'll probably eventually I'll put it on YouTube. But for now, I'm putting it on some Facebook groups. So if you need a slip pump, comment. I'll answer your comment and we'll arrange it. All right. Thank you. I want everybody to have a quality day.